when the light of man isn't shining bright upon you, how do you act? How do you move? How do you groove? How do you grind? How do you hustle? How do you conduct yourself? Do you practice credibility and integrity? Do you eat clean? Do you train hard? Do you focus the mind? Do you ponder? Do you meditate? Do you nourish the soul with the word of Yahuwah Yahusha? Do you nourish your mind with productive, wholesome, good knowledge that helps elevate you? That helps strengthen your mind? That helps imbue you with discipline and self-control? Do you train to harden the temple which houses the breath of Yahuwah? They say that how a man does anything is how he does everything. So, do you leave your bed unmade in the morning? Do you see some junk that's left on your floor? Do you just leave it there, you pick it up, or do you leave it there for someone else in the house to clean up? How are you conducting yourself? These little things, although in their individual parts, hey, no one's looking, I'll take a bite of that cake. Hey, you know what? I'll wake up a half hour later today. You know what? I'm not going to do that extra set. It's all right. I did enough reps. You know what? I'm going to skip reading a couple of pages from the Bible, from the Besorah, from the Good News, because I've read enough over the past couple of years. I could skip a day. I'm too busy today. I'm not going to grind as hard today. I'm not going to hustle as hard. When the light of man is not exposing you to the world such that you have to put on a show and put on an act, how are you conducting yourself in the mirror so that you look yourself in the eyes and are able to say that you're not putting on a mask for yourself? I've talked in the past about the three hearts philosophy, the three masks philosophy, the three face philosophy, where it said that in many cultures you have three faces or three hearts, or you wear three masks. There's a face you wear for the world. There's a face you wear for your friends and your family. Then there's a face that only you see, that only you know. I like the hearts idea better. There's three hearts that you have. You have a heart for the world, a heart for your friends and your family, and a secret heart that no one else knows what lies within. But here's the Achilles heel in that philosophy. Yahuwah Yahusha, the Most High, the Supreme Elohim, He knows your heart. He knows. And when you live in Yahuwah Yahusha, you can't hide from that heart. Because a lot of times that so-called secret heart that you don't show to the world, you don't show to your friends, your family, you don't even show it to yourself. Because that heart is a heart of darkness. That heart is so evil, so sinful, so decadent, depraved, defiled, and debased. And listen, I'm not pointing any fingers. We're all like this. We're all human. We're all fallible. We all make mistakes. We're all evil. We're all sinful. We're all debased, defiled, depraved, decadent in our own ways. And oftentimes, we're at our most decadent when no one's looking. Evil, sin, depravity lurks in darkness. The secret hearts of men, those that conspire, those that plot, those that connive, those that are filled of contrivance and cleverness. They hatch their plans in darkness so that no one could see. can't hide from Yahuwah, Yahusha. Yahuwah knows your heart. And then when you look yourself in the mirror, you try to justify all the evil that you do. It could be grand evil, it could be small, minor sins. But small, minor sins, they chip away at you, they eat away at you. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. But are you putting on not just a contrivance for the world and contrivance for your friends and your family, but are you also putting on a contrivance to yourself? Many people do. Many people are self-deluded. Many people hide behind an illusion of what they see, and they justify all manner of depravity from themselves. There's no check and balance on yourself. Others are very honest, and they expose that secret heart to themselves. And when they look in the mirror, they know who they are. And these people are okay with it. They're okay with being dark. They're okay with being evil. They're okay with plotting and planning to claw, scratch, cannibalize, to overpower and claim dominion over their fellow man so that they can have more. Because it's never enough. You're always fighting. You're always looking to steamroll, conquer through wit, through guile, or through brute force your fellow man so that you can have all that the ways of the flesh and the ways of this earth. Present treasure, present wealth, present riches to you, as if these are the things that you should be storing up. These are the things you should be competing for. These are the things you should be fighting for. But they give you nothing but pain and sorrow and emptiness. They make you hateful, jealous, and envious. But again, many don't even admit this to themselves, and they look in the mirror and they have a fourth mask, a fourth heart, a fourth face. They don't even let themselves see their evil heart. They delude themselves and justify. They don't want to know. They turn a blind eye to their own evil. So you really have to think about this. You have to ponder. You have to contemplate. You have to ruminate. You have to spend time, quiet time with yourself and really think on these things. Because the worst delusion of all, this world is a hallucination, it's a mirage, it's a false reality, but the worst delusion of all is not the delusion that your fellow man casts upon you, or that Hashatan, Satan, the demons of this world, the haters, the detractors, psychic vampires, the persuaders, the influencers, the evil whisperers, that illusion, that shadow, that mirage that they cast to convince you that you should operate according to their plan is nothing compared to the web you weave for yourself, to the deaf ear and blind eye you turn to your own actions, and to that fourth mask that you wear, that fourth heart that you carry on. It's painful to be in the light of Yahuwah. It's painful to be in that light when you're unrighteous. It's painful to be in, so you turn a blind eye to it. You don't listen to your conscience when it's calling out to you, when it's ringing true, pointing like a compass to the true north, the true direction, the narrow path that you know you should be following. It's compelling you, but you're resisting it, you're fighting it, because you've fallen prey to the evil whisperers of this world, to the decadence and depravity that you find yourself defiled and debased by. Because it's these pleasures that you wallow in, the hedonism, the gluttony, the pleasure seeking, the drugs, the alcohol, the pornography, all of the pleasures of the flesh, all of the sins of the flesh that tear away at your soul and leave you bereft and empty, frustrated, anxious, self-hating, and all manner of despair, desperation, such that you chase your own tail for your entire life. However, the solution is also found in what you're hiding from. Because when you surrender to the light that is Yahuwah, Yahusha, you're cleansed. Right now you feel the light is painful because you know what you're doing is wrong. But when you surrender to the light of Yahuwah, Yahusha, and ask Him to guide you, to direct you, to show you how to live your life in a manner that pleases Him most, you are filled with the breath of Yahuwah, the set-apart spirit, the Ruach that lives within you and guides you true and righteous and justified and sanctified. And you've never felt so good as when that light, that beautiful, shining, healing, joyous, peaceful light that casts everlasting life upon you, rings you true, washes you clean, and reconstructs you, revises you, refreshes you, such that you are recreated once again in the eyes of Yahuwah, Yahusha. You have a new life. And now that you are refreshed, revised, reconstructed, filled with His energy, His love, His peace, you never want to go back to that life again. You never want to wear any of those four hearts again, because your heart now is true and strong. It is the true heart, the real heart, the real, the one that Yahuwah, Yahusha has bestowed you with. And now you feel meaning, you feel purpose. For the first time in your life, you're guided in a way that renders you unstoppable, undeniable, unassailable, unconquerable. You, in all faith that you now have in Yahuwah, Yahusha, because He has baptized you, He has immersed you. By the breath, by the Ruach, and by fire, such that you are purified, sanctified, justified. And you can't be stopped any longer by the evil whisperers. They have no control over you. They have no power over you. The psychic vampires, negative influencers, haters, detractors, the demons of this world, the corrupters, the evildoers, misleaders, deceivers, they can't touch you. You shine bright because, as Yahuwah, Yahusha said, you are the light of this world. I often say, it's often said, that Yahuwah, Yahusha is the light of this world, and He is, such that the darkness cannot comprehend it, the darkness cannot fathom it, the darkness cannot overcome it, such that when the light of Yahuwah, Yahusha smashes into the darkness, darkness dissolves, dissipates, it is no more. You are cleansed, sparkling, shining new. And then His light lives within you, the breath, the Ruach, it bursts forth from you, and it pans out in an infinite number of rays, such that you become the light. And this is why I often say you live as an example for your people. Yahuwah, Yahusha says this in Matthew. He talks about when He's on top of the mountain preaching to His taught ones. He says, you are the light of this world. You receive His light, and then you become the light. You are the light of this world. A city that sits on top of a mountain cannot be hidden. The same. For when men light a candle, they do not hide it underneath a basket, but they put it on a lampstand so that all within the house can feel its radiant glow. So shall you cast your shining light upon this world, so that all your brothers and sisters, all your people and beyond, can see your good works and honor, revere Abba, your Father that is in heaven, Yahuwah, the Most High, the Supreme Elohim. And so we live as an example for our people. What we do when the light of man is not shining upon us is just as important as what we do when the world is looking. Because Yahusha knows our hearts. And when we live in Yahusha, our heart is strong, it is righteous, it is sanctified, it is cleansed, it is beautiful, it is healed, it is unstoppable. Such that we're compelled to always point true north. Such that we're compelled to do the right thing. Because it feels good. It makes us strong. It keeps us on the straight, true, and narrow. It glorifies us. It empowers us. It elevates us. And it elevates our people. We live as a light for our people. For those who are now where we once were, lost in that darkness, putting on that fourth mask, hiding their deeds and their actions and their imperfections and their sin and their evil from even themselves. And that's okay. Listen, we're all imperfect. We're all fallible. We're gonna make mistakes. But that's okay. We're all susceptible to being misled and being deceived, but we no longer move with an evil heart. We move with a righteous and true heart. The light is bright and shining and healing within us and bursting forth out from without so that all can see the good works and all can honor our Father in heaven. And although we may stumble once in a while, we are instantly drawn back on that path because again, we have the Ruach, the breath of Yahuwah that lives within us and compels us to stay on that straight, true, and narrow path that leads to the gate, the narrow gate where the light is bursting forth. The light that's within us, the breath compels us like a magnet to follow that path, to stay on it, to be true to it. And we're guided, again, like that compass, like that divining rod. The meter always points that one way when you're living in Yahusha. And you can see the light. It's bursting forth. It lives within you. It's shining down on you. It's illuminating the path. And you can see it. It all points to the brightest light of all, which is that bright light that shine that we can see. I can see it. That's bursting forth from the narrow gates that leads to the kingdom to come, Yahusha's kingdom, where there is no more evil or sin. There is no more murder or death. There is no more war or misery. There is no more pain or suffering, evil or sin, sadness or hatred. There's no more Hashatan. There's no more Satan. There's no more devil, Lucifer, or demons of this world. There's no more decadence, depravity, defilement, debasement. No more evil whisperers. No more demons. No more corruptors. No more misleaders, deceivers, or evildoers. There's no more haters, detractors, psychic vampires, or negative influencers. They're all crushed beneath the feet of Yahusha and where he lives in the kingdom to come, where he reigns. No more darkness, only light. Only everlasting peace, everlasting joy, everlasting love, everlasting healing. Where he lives amongst us once again, where we can honor him, glorify him, worship him, love him, and praise him with all of our hearts, souls, minds, and strength in a way that pleases him most because we're perfect once again as we were when we were originally born, originally created, when we were originally given paradise, Eden, until we allowed ourselves in our hubris, like Icarus flying too close to the sun, like those that built the Tower of Babel such that men could construct such a way to be equal to the heavens, only for the tower to be smashed and the people scattered across the world, such that we could no longer plot and plan and contrive against Yahuwah or to be equal with Yahuwah, such that Icarus had his wings singed, flying too close to the sun because of his hubris, his conceit, his arrogance, that he could fly as high as the eagle soar. We will continue in our hubris to fashion deities with our hands. You cannot fashion Yahuwah. Yahusha with your hands. Although with all of our technology, we will continue to try. We will continue to create wings to fly too close to the sun. We will continue to create towers to reach the heavens. We will continue to be influenced by the serpent, by the dragon. Again and again and again and again, we will reject and turn away from Yahuwah, Yahusha, and his commandments. Out of hubris, out of conceit, out of arrogance, such that man should be a deity, such that man should be a god, only to be rendered asunder over and over and over and over again, forced to wear one of the four hearts, one of the four masks, one of the four faces, in order to weave our way throughout this world. Cast out from Eden, and then Cain, the first murderous act, out of jealousy, envy, rage, crushing the head of his brother Abel. Yahuwah casting Cain out onto the land such that the land would no longer produce good fruit for him, such that he would be forced to make his way upon this world and live by the sweat of his brow and all of his people thereafter. Since they could no longer make the land yield its fruit, we sought the fruit of the flesh. And so began our striving, our conniving, our scratching, our clawing for dominance, to conquer this land. And again we were given covenants. Covenants that we had a chance, an opportunity to come back to Yahuwah. First covenant with Adam, broken. Covenant with Noah, broken. Covenant with Abraham, broken. Covenant with Moses, broken. Covenant with Yahusha. It's the last one. Don't break it. And you're not living in it. Come to it. Heal your heart. You don't need to wear any of the four masks. You don't need to wear any of the three faces. You don't need to wear, to own, to embody, to house any of the four hearts. It leads nowhere. It leads to your destruction. It leads to your despair. It leads to you tearing yourself to pieces in the end. Much better to be the light. To receive the light of Yahuwah Yahusha. To receive the breath of Yahuwah Yahusha. The Ruach, the set-apart spirit. To be the light. To be an example for your people. To live true and strong and blessed and righteous. Justified and sanctified. And here's the thing, many people think that's a sacrifice. It's an honor, it's a privilege, it's not a sacrifice. It actually elevates you higher than you could ever be elevated by serving yourself. To serve Yahuwah Yahusha, to live and to love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your fellow man as you love yourself. You end up elevated in a way, cared for in a way, loved in a way, healed in a way, peaceful in a way, joyous in a way that you could never be if you were self-serving. So love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Receive his light. Let it heal your heart. Let it burst forth from you. For you are the light of this world. And let us walk tall and strong in that light. Steadfast and true. We shall march, ceaseless and relentless, unstoppable, unconquerable, undefeatable, undeniable, unassailable, as we move like a juggernaut to kingdom come.